What if you could foil prints onto faux leather the same way you do on paper, with just a laser printer, some reactive foil, and a laminator? Wouldn't that be nice? And wouldn't it be even nicer if you don't even need a laminator? Bonjour, I'm Lou, and I love foils. For a while now, I've been on the hunt for the best way to foil designs onto anything I can without fancy tools. I want something that looks professional, is durable, and most importantly, is easy enough for anyone to do at home. In my researches, I discovered the Hot Quill. It's an amazing, inexpensive tool that lets you foil directly onto practically anything. I did my Empyrean books covers using this technique on faux leather, and the results are gorgeous. Plus, it holds up really well over time. There are some downsides though. The first one is that it is really time consuming. The second is that you have to hand draw everything, and if you make a mistake, well, there's no undo button. That makes it pretty hard to get a perfect professional look. So I kept looking, and that's when I had an idea. What if I could foil prints onto faux leather the same way you do on paper? It would make it easy for anyone with a laser printer to do, even if you think you can't draw. The result would look crisp with minimal efforts, and you'd be able to foil almost any designs you'd want. I honestly didn't know if it would work, but I had to try. And let me tell you, it was a process of trial and error. I thought the process would be simple. Print onto the fabric, place foil on top, pass through the laminator, and voila. So I did a test run and was surprised to see that it worked. So I started filming the tutorial, and let's just say that the results were inconsistent to say the least. Twice the fabric got stuck into the printer, once into the laminator. Some worked great and some just didn't. I kept trying and testing different techniques even without the laminator at all. And finally, after a lot of testing, I found out what gave the most consistent results, and I'm here to share the secret recipe and everything I learned with you. Before we jump in, here's what you'll need for this project. Faux leather, I got mine from Amazon. Reactive foil, again, Amazon. A laser printer, yes, it needs to be laser and not inkjet. I'll explain why later. Mine is the HP LaserJet M11W, which was the cheapest I could find. A laminator or an iron, more on that later, and the secret ingredient, clear spray paint. Now, to foil a design, you first need, well, a design to print. One thing to keep in mind, your design is limited to the size of your printer and laminator. Most home printers max out at A4, which makes it perfect for a passport-sized traveler's notebook, for example. This is exactly what I'm planning on doing with the designs I'm creating in this video. We are going to make it in next week's video, so make sure you subscribe. There are actually a lot of possibilities, even with the size limitation. You could make custom wallets, decorative patches, pockets for your sewing projects, or even smaller books or rebinds. Unfortunately, rebinding regular size books would be more difficult, though not impossible. I could make a video showing you how I'd do it if you are interested. Tell me in the comments if it is something you'd want to see. Alright, once you have your design ready, it's time to print. The method I used to print on the fabric without it getting stuck into the printer was to first cut it to an A4 size, then tape it to a regular paper. And here's the most important thing. It has to be printed with a laser printer, not an inkjet. That's because this technique works with toner-based printing, which is what makes the foil stick. Inkjet printers use liquid ink that won't react with the foil. So if you try this with an inkjet, you'll just end up disappointed. I go more into details about how this works in my video on foiling prints on paper. I also explain how you can use multiple foils, so definitely check that out. For the best results, print in solid black. The darker the toner, the better the foil adhesion. If you are using black faux leather, it will not look like anything changed, but that will make it that much more satisfying in the next step, foiling. This is where it got really tricky. I did a lot of testing with different printer settings and compared the iron to the laminator technique, and here is what I learned. The laminator can give amazing results, but is really inconsistent. I could get an amazing result on one side of the print and absolutely awful on the other side of the same print. Those frustratingly inconsistent results were why I had the idea of trying with the iron. This technique is more consistent and you have more control, but it does take longer. And also, you might have to do a little bit of cleanup. Here is how to have the best result with the laminator. Take your printed faux leather and place the reactive foil on top, shiny side up. Then run it through your laminator once and let it cool down completely before peeling off the foil. To use the iron technique, take your printed faux leather and, like for the laminator, place your foil shiny side up on the printed parts. Then place a sheet of baking paper and place it on top. With your iron on high heat, go slowly over your foil, pressing down firmly, and let it cool down completely before peeling off the foil. I suggest you to test your iron setting beforehand. Too hot and you get flakes of foil where you don't want to, and not hot enough and it will not work properly. And if you mess up, don't worry, you can actually wash it off and try again. This also means that it is not really resistant as is. A single scratch and it would start flaking off. To remedy that, my first thought was to apply a clear spray top coat. Honestly, I wasn't sure it would work because faux leather isn't the easiest material for paints to stick to, but I tried it anyway and to my surprise, it worked perfectly. So once you are satisfied with the result you got, simply apply a thin layer of clear spray paint on it and wait for it to dry. And that's it. With some simple tools, you can foil beautiful professional looking designs on faux leather. No need to hand draw anything and no cutting machine needed. This opens the possibilities for so many projects. Tell me in the comments, what would you make with this technique? And if you want to see how I turned this piece into a DIY traveler's notebook, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that tutorial. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.